The National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, otherwise known as NORML, has organized smoke-ins on the National Mall every summer for the past 40 years. Members of the pro-cannabis movement consider these smoke-ins their opportunity to call for changes in law enforcement and promote the use of marijuana for medical purposes. This year, they have reason to feel hopeful. With the election of President Obama and subsequent change in administrative priorities, advocates have hope that the legalization of medical marijuana nationwide is no longer out of the question.
You've got some of the most famous things that Obama said so far, like we're going to base all of our policy on science, and if that's true, we're golden. We in the campaign know that we're golden based on the science, but that has to hold true even on controversial issues.
Since the smoke-ins began 4 decades ago, public opinion around the issue has softened. To date, 13 states have adopted laws legalizing medical marijuana.
There's a lot of people have a legitimate need for it. They've been heard. I've been in a position like that before. If I was examined, I could get it myself, but in our state of Maryland, they don't really allow it. And we've been trying to fight the law there too, but to little success.
Oh, I've got friends and relatives that have all kinds of disorders, everything from cancer to Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, just all kinds of disorders, even psychological disorders, sleeping disorders, eating disorders. It's incredible what this plant can do.
Arguments for the medical use of marijuana would seem to be obvious, but not everyone has come around to a pro-cannabis position. Addiction counselor Willem Bonnet, like many within the addiction recovery community, is willing to debate the issue.
I have some concerns by the fact that, marijuana is one of the least studied or least researched drugs that are out there. So before we start pushing for decriminalization, we really need to look at, the full impact of what it's going to have on our youth.
Those on the other side emphasize medical benefits more so than community impact.
But there are just literally tens, if not hundreds, of these things called cannabinoids in cannabis. THC is only one. And they're little chemicals. They do different things.
The weed that they're smoking now is completely different. It has super amounts of tetrahydrocannabinol, which is, a female plant hormone.
THC is the main intoxicant. It has some anti-pain and anti-inflammatory benefits, but those are not the entire battle. It's a complete, it's an act to ignore the deeper science behind the plant.
I'm not a doctor. I can't debate the medicinal qualities of marijuana. I will debate that to hide behind the medicinal qualities of marijuana to promote, the psychoactive effects of it, is just game.
It may well be that casual users of marijuana are obtaining the drug ostensibly for medical purposes in states like California, where medical use of marijuana has been legalized. But it is also true that these states are able to collect new taxes from this industry. In these times of economic uncertainty, any measures that help fill state coffers are likely to be considered by lawmakers. Whether it's worth the risk remains to be seen. In Washington, D.C., this is Leanne Scott reporting for BBN3.